Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Days of Our Lives spoilers recap for Wednesday, June 28, reveals that Nicole Walker, Ariane Zucker, tried to track E.J. DiMera, Dan Feareagle, down through his assistant and had no luck. When Chloe Lane, Nadia Abdurlan, arrived, Nicole admitted that her doctor's appointment went well and that she'd hopefully be able to carry this baby to term. Unfortunately, EJ had gone MIA and wasn't around to get updates on the good news. Chloe wasn't happy about EJ flaking on Nicole, but Nicole suggested she knew what she was getting herself into when she got back together with him. Since Nicole was willing to get past EJ's flaws, Chloe pushed her to do the same when it came to Xander Cook, Paul Telfer. Nicole found out Chloe hadn't slept with Xander yet, but she assumed it would happen soon. After Chloe decided to head out, she gave Nicole a hug and vowed to be there if her friend needed her. At Eric Brady's Greg Vaughn place on Wednesday's Days episode, Sloane Peterson, Jessica Surfety, arrived and admitted she'd been distracted in court since she couldn't stop thinking about him. Sloane was eager to make a baby and hit the sheets with Eric, but he reminded her of what a big commitment having a child was. Since Sloane had no family left other than her brother, who was likely going to prison for a long time, she insisted she wanted to create a family of her own. Sloane felt that a baby would offer redemption and that if she could be a good mom, she could be a good person. Of course, Sloane also wanted to make Eric's dream of being a father come true, so she thought this would be great for them both. When Sloane suggested inviting Marlena Evans, Deidre Hall, and John Black, Drake Hodgeston, to dinner, Eric called them to extend the invitation. That led to Eric getting bad news about Abe Carver, James Reynolds, so he told Sloane about his presumed grim fate. Sloane realized this could work out well for Colin Bedford, Jasper Newman, since he was locked up when Abe supposedly fell into the water. That confirmed Colin wasn't to blame, but Sloane ultimately apologized for being insensitive since Abe was close with Eric's family. Eric understood before his thoughts drifted to Nicole since Abe was like a father to her. Sloane suggested Nicole would need a friend and pushed Eric to go see her, so he gave her a hug for being such a good person. Once Sloane was alone on Wednesday's Days episode, she hoped she made a baby with Eric so she could stop feeling guilty about the rated paternity test. However, Sloane told herself that maybe there was no need to feel guilty if EJ really was the father. Back at the DiMera mansion, Nicole threw her phone in frustration since EJ still hadn't gotten back to her. After Nicole declared that she'd scream if the father of her baby didn't walk through the door in the next 5 minutes, Eric appeared and seemed concerned about her. Outside the pub on Wednesday's DOOld episode, Xander overheard Dimitri von Luschner, Peter Port, leaving a voicemail for Megan DiMera, Miranda Wilson, about proposing to that wrist-checked woman. Once Xander confronted him, Dimitri insisted Gwen wrist-checked Emily O'Brien. Personal life was none of Xander's business. After Dimitri warned that people who interfere in his affairs end up regretting it, Xander wasn't scared. In fact, Xander argued that when someone hurt a person he cared about, he also made sure they wound up regretting it. Dimitri asked if that was a threat, but Xander said it was more like a promise. When Dimitri wondered if Xander would run a nasty article about him, Xander hinted at his sinister history. If Dimitri hurt Gwen, then Xander said the Spectator would be the least of his worries. In Gwen's hotel suite, she admired the flowers Dimitri sent and faced more of Leo Stark's, Greg Reichardt, suspicions about Dimitri being up to something. Leo couldn't believe that Gwen was actually contemplating this marriage proposal, but she argued that she was an ex-con with no money. Gwen didn't see how Dimitri could use her and thought Leo should consider the possibility that he just really wanted to marry her. When Dimitri showed up, Liam refused to leave and once again made his disdain for Dimitri known. Dimitri mostly ignored Leo and asked if Gwen had given any more thought to accepting his marriage proposal. Meanwhile, Xander was distracted when he brought dinner home to Chloe, who wondered what was up. That led to Xander admitting he had a weird run-in outside the pub earlier. Xander revealed that it looked like Dimitri and Gwen were getting married. In the town square, Johnny Demura, Carson Boatman, called Wendy Shin, Victoria Grace, and made dinner plans with her. Wendy vowed to be ready when Johnny picked her up in an hour and disconnected. Trip Johnson, Lucas Adams, was fresh out of the shower and wearing only a towel at the apartment, so he confessed that he'd hoped to make Wendy dinner tonight. Since Johnny beat him to the invitation, Trip decided he could just have a short date with Wendy before Johnny arrived. Wendy pointed out that she still had to get ready, but she got on board with a 45-minute date and agreed to meet back up in 15 minutes. Trip surprised Wendy by coming to the door with flowers before they did shots and laughed over a game of Jenga. Back with Johnny, he ran into Chanel Dupree, Raven Bowens, who was crying over the horrible news about Abe. Johnny didn't want Chanel to drive while she was so upset, so he took her home. After Chanel got in touch with Jada Hunter, Elia Cantu, and Rafe Hernandez, Galen Deering, she found out Paulina Price, Jackie Harry, had insisted on going down to the docks after she heard about Abe's tragic outcome. Johnny didn't want to leave Chanel alone while she waited, so he called Wendy and explained everything. Wendy totally understood and suggested a rain check since Johnny needed to be with Chanel right now. After Johnny hung up on Wednesday's episode, he assured Chanel that he was happy to stay with her. Wendy also filled in Trip, who knew this had to be hard on Chanel since she lost her own father and now her stepfather too. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Chanel will thankfully be reunited with Abe down the road, so stay tuned for more Diola curveballs. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our Days of Our Lives Gossip YouTube channel for more update news.